I'm going to carry straight on if we can, please. Calm yourselves down.
Of course.
Acoustics are the secret. I really like this topic, right? Because I had this weird colleague, Rupert, right, who runs around kind of all kinds of sites in the UK and Spain and everywhere else, and everybody thinks he's crazy. But he is. But behind that is this wonderful kind of idea about, you know, the kind of acoustics and sacred sites, and it's something that really gets missing, like, you know, the printed music gets missing, and where did it all come from, and the sound of oracles and goodness knows what else. It's fantastic. So that's the big build-up. Yeah, I'm excited. So you've got to go with that. Thank you.
Okay. First of all, I have to explain a bit because we were supposed to have a joint presentation with Dr. Riitta Raunio, but he had an accident just a couple of days ago, and she has a few stitches in her head, and one of her eyes is sort of swollen, so she has to rest. So I promised to do this presentation. Unfortunately, she is responsible for the core of the whole research project, which involves researchers from both archaeology and musicology. But anyway, the field of research is called archaeoacoustics, which is defined there. And there has been at least one conference already on the subject, maybe more. What we are doing research is on the acoustics of old rocks, and which have been used for some sort of rituals, and they have been thought as places where you can contact the spirits. And our assumption is that the reflections, the acoustic reflection from the rock gives you the illusion that you are acoustically connected to the other side. The places concerning this research project, there are 3 places in north. One of them is in Northern Finland, in Lapland, and 2 are in northeast. Actually, they seem to be on the map on the center, eastern Finland, but we consider that this is center of Finland. So. And if you count the amount of population, then that might be correct. But anyway, there are 4 researchers: Riitta Raunio, the sort of leading researcher, a musicologist, then Antti Lahelma, who is an archaeologist from University of Helsinki. Tiina Äikäs, also an archaeologist from the University of Oulu in Northern Finland, and myself. And my responsibility is the design of the recording and analysis methodology for analyzing the echoes. So I'll try to concentrate my presentation on that. This is one of the places called Taatsin Kirkko, which is the furthest north of the 3 places. There's a steep rock, and it has been used for offerings, and also there are sort of stories about of the special properties of the rock that there on the lower side, this one for instance, on a still summer night one could hear them talking. It was forbidden to make noise at the cliff, so they are considered to have sort of special place that you have to be talking a not too loud voice. Maybe I'll skip this mostly, but there are also paintings on the rocks. And the places are in canyon-like type places where they are on water, or beside water, and there's the rock and the shore on the other side. And in some of the places, both do reflect sound somewhat. This is the Helsinki, the northern side. It's I don't know exactly what this year or century refers to, whether it's the date of the paintings or not. But this is from the 12th century. The rock is, of course, a much older construction, and not an artificial one, but sort of natural side. Then there's the Julma Ölkky, where it dates to 3000 to 500 BC. And Värikallio, or color rock, which is perhaps the most famous one. There's all kinds of references to that one, and it has sort of even inspired contemporary composers to compose music inspired by that. And Värikallio, of course, it refers to the paintings. I don't know whether you can see or recognize, but there are at least two human figures and some animal figures here. And in at least some of the rocks, they have found also pictures of instruments, especially drums. So they have been probably used for making music as well. So that's the musical part of this presentation. Okay, there are some. This is that the cliffs that have been painted, held as sacred, are acoustically distinct from the surrounding areas. And there's no sign of that they have been inhabited or there have been permanent asumus. The people don't live there permanently, and in fact, the places where there have been villages or communities on a permanent settlement, then they have been acoustically totally different. They have been on flat surfaces and without such reflecting construction or surrounding. And the acoustical features played an essential role in the development and use of these sites, for example, in ritual activities and accompanied painting. So the paintings have been there for sort of some purpose involved in rituals. And ethnographic concerning the siedi or seita in Finnish, which refers to the type of the place, can provide clues in the beliefs and practices associated with Finnish prehistoric rock paintings. So this is the sort of practical research. It's a multi-methodological project which involves both acoustical measurements and also visual modeling of the surroundings. So until Ilma is doing a 3D visual scanning of the rock, and Riitta is responsible of the acoustical research. And this is from the Värikallio or color rock, I believe. And also precision GPS cartography. So my part was to develop a sort of portable or transportable recording system, and since I specialize in spectrum analysis, I designed a sort of moderate cost equipment first because Riitta got a sort of modest grant for purchasing equipment, so I thought of how to spend the money in sort of to give a high quality measurement data, but that would be portable and affordable, but at the same time high quality. And it has to be free of mains power because it's on countryside, and it has to be battery operated. But this is a simple setup with two omnidirectional microphones and one Zoom, just conventional audio recorder, which has a built-in stereo microphone. And we place the setup in a triangular setup so that there is 22 centimeters from each microphone to the other. And then we can, it's roughly the same distance as the distance between the human eardrums. So you can, for instance, listen with headphones and get an impression of what the surrounding sounds like. But also we got to get to measure the arrival angle of the reflections based on the directional or the sort of separation between the microphones and this arrival time difference between the microphones. And the third one is a reference microphone here used to distinguish between echoes coming from the rear or to the front. Just two microphones are not enough for figuring that out. And the excitation signals used on the first generation setup was a starter pistol, which was found out that it's too loud, it clips, but nevertheless we can get usable data from it. And then just hand claps and suction pipes. These here, and wood blocks, etc. One of the limitations that of the system is that we get also only horizontal sort of image of the arrival angle of the echoes. So the second generation system, when Riitta got better funding for purchasing equipment, we designed an omnidirectional speaker, which was custom built. It's very conventional construction. There are commercial equivalent speakers, but we got that built more cheaply than to purchase special equipment for that. It's a dodecahedron loudspeaker, which means that it has 12 similar full-range speakers. so it produces the same sound to all directions. And the recording setup was a 4 microphone system where the microphones were 40 centimeters apart. And that was just sort of, we thought that we must lengthen the distance between the microphones to get more precision of the arrival angle, and also because then we have, in the worst case, we have this 22 centimeters with each microphone pair, the same distance that we got in the previous setup. And there are 4 omnidirectional microphones and a custom-built microphone stand. And we use, again, a conventional moderate cost portable recorder, a Zoom H6 which has 6 channels, so we can get all the 4 microphone channels plus the line level excitation signal also. And there we use sine sweeps. I'll show you, play an example. Sine and noise bursts, and also female voice, which was a sort of a last-minute idea. We had to have a sound artist in our collegium of researchers called Taina Riikonen, who sort of gave us some of her experimental recordings to record there. And we did that also. And the limitation is that it requires a steady surface. So the previous recordings were done on a bolt in summertime, but the sine sweep takes 30 minutes plus the reverberation time, and you cannot hold the bolt steady even if it's calm, whether it always sort of moves a bit and moves on the. So we had to make the recordings on ice in the winter time, and that was actually quite dangerous because Riitta had another accident. He froze her little finger, and it was quite close that he sort of that it healed, and fortunately that did, but nevertheless, because there was quite a lot. It was freezing at the time when the weather was calmest, and there were all sorts of happenings involved. But anyway, there's the speaker, and there's the microphone, and there's the excitation signal setup, which was the old Zoom H4, and the rock is obviously here. And there's some. We have time left?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So, just to show that this is scientific, I had but this is just a basic trigonometry, something that we learn in school, but nevertheless, it's more convincing that way. But and fancy names for the signal processing. It involves deconvolution, which is used for post-processing the sine sweep to make an impulse, and then cross-correlation, where you find the sort of highest peak of the reflection and can measure the time difference between the various channels, and then you can calculate using that equation the arrival angle of the reflection. And then we can, of course, measure also the reverberation time. And this is the excitation. I hope this works. No? Oh, okay. But it's a sine sweep. I cannot sing it. There are some examples of oscillograms. which shows the time runs from left to right, and this is the sound pressure level or the intensity of the signal. And then there's the impulse, the straight signal from the speaker, and then the echo, and which correlates fortunately with the distance of the rock. And there's a noise burst, and you can hear how it sounds like. So there's a noticeable delay between the impulse and also the echo is quite strong. There's a spectrogram of the same thing. And another one from Julmaölkky, and a three-dimensional graph. And some examples of the surroundings and the point of recording. I don't unfortunately have any sound examples of that. And then in some places there are reflections from the other shore as well. The rock is in here, and the shore on the other side gives also an echo, which may result in a flutter-like, and it actually sounds quite sort of distinct. And I hope this works. There's the excitation signal. This is in stereo, and it was played in mono in the field. And this is the version recorded in the field. It distorts somewhat. There are quite distinctive echoes in the first part of the. Fine. Okay. Good. And then some examples of the paintings, and this has been interpreted as a person playing a drum. And there are similar symbols in Northern Finland, in Northern Norway as well, that sort of are obvious sort of indications that music has been played there, or at least musical instruments, that, or something that we consider as musical instruments. Okay, that's the summary. And I think I'll leave the floor to questions.
Okay. Did you say that the software was used by you and a colleague that you used for analysis?
Sorry?
The software you used for the analysis, was it built by yourself and a colleague?
Yes.
On top of what platform?
On Octave, on GNU Octave, which is similar to MATLAB. So we did develop with Jaska Uimonen, a colleague of mine, a spectrum analysis package on top of Octave. And that was used for the spectrum analysis and has been used for a long time before this project. But for this particular project, I wrote the deconvolution and cross-correlation functions to extract the data. Yeah.
Are these slides available anywhere in the net?
I have to ask Riitta, because she has given presentations on the whole project, and the sort of the whole PowerPoint presentation was prepared actually by her. Maybe it was the recording methodology part, but the spectrum analysis were done by Riitta. Yes.
Just a coincidence. Yesterday I listened from Yle Areena in the series Tosi tarinoita about Sulgantash cave in the Baskyria in the south of Urals.
Okay.
And there was a point when they are in the cave, and somebody is explaining that the most special rock paintings are in the acoustically special places.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And Riitta has actually talked about this in various conferences on this subject, and there have been sort of talks of collaboration with at least a Spanish scholar who was doing research there, and they have even sort of asked whether they can borrow our equipment for their measurements.
Right, this is really fascinating. So do I understand correctly that the most or all of the sacred sites have a special acoustic property, or are there certain sacred sites that you don't have that? Does it correlate?
Actually, I don't know. I know only of these particular 3 sites. And I'm not sort of the best person to answer that question, actually, because my involvement in the project is just the practical sort of acoustical measurement.
Yeah.
There does seem to be a correlation. Ian Cross has written about this in terms of not the stones as well as the acoustic spaces, and there does seem to be a correlation between the paintings and the properties of the area. And one can assume that there's chanting or something, or just being there.
What was that name?
Ian Cross.
Thank you.
Yeah. And actually, what I forgot to mention was that in this, what this tries to demonstrate is that even in the place where you sort of talk and listen, it sounds like the voice of the speaker transcends from the body of the, because it sort of you hear it coming from 2 places instead of just from the speaker. And considering the time when there didn't exist any sort of buildings like churches or something like that, that must have been very dramatic experience for the people. Yeah.
So this is the origin of churches, because we have their echo always.
Perhaps.
And maybe concert halls and electric echoes. There is something spiritual in music, and
Yes,
we like that.
yeah.
I think it's something else that it's in everyday life we hear, and we like it.
Yeah, so you can connect to the spirit of Beethoven when you go to the symphony concert.
Okay,
but, yeah,
I think
definitely.
we've kind of reached the lunchtime moment. Is that right? Nessa, how's it going to make sandwiches? Is there perhaps one last question? I think lunch was the crucial key word there.
Yeah.
Also, my friend, who is himself from Kittilä, told me that there are certain waterfalls in certain parts of Lapland with very distinctive, like sound signature.
Yeah.
Also, waterfalls like singing in harmony.
Yeah. Actually, what I just remembered that these are the sites have been picked for this research because the water level is on the same level that it was when the paintings were painted. But there are other sites as well, but there the water level has fallen during time. And now we are trying to figure out how to measure those sites, because we have to eliminate the reflection from the ice or from the water from the impulse. And we have an idea for that as well, but it's too early to talk about that. But anyway, that's one fascinating point. But one practical difficulty is, of course, to lift the equipment high enough, 12 meters, for instance, height, and have the speaker there and the microphone as well. So that's a bit of a challenge.
Okay, thank you very much.